everybody. So I want to take some time. Welcome everyone. I see a couple of returning faces, so I'm happy to see those that have come back from previous sessions that we've had as part of this webinar series. For those of you that are new, though, I've got a couple of housekeeping items I'm going to run through. But my name is Abel Young. I'm the Community Services Director here at the Sonoran Center. And again, thank you for joining our Advancing Employment webinar series. So first things first, today's session is being recorded, and that recording will be made available at the end of this presentation. It generally takes us a couple of weeks to get it posted online, but once it is posted, that link will be sent out to everybody, and you guys will have access to this recording. Second, for today's session, we have ASL interpreters and live captions, generously provided by the University of Arizona Disability Resource Center. So for captions, make sure that you turn them on at the bottom, clicking the closed caption button. We will be attempting to spotlight the interpreters throughout today's session. So please, for those of you that are here attending, keep your cameras off unless you're presenting, just so we make sure additional cameras aren't kind of interfering with us showing the interpreters. If you have questions during today's session, please utilize the chat feature. I will be monitoring the chat throughout the presentation, and I will keep track of all of the questions that are being asked while our presenters are sharing their information. Anything that isn't answered throughout the presentation, I will read those questions aloud at the end of the session. And there will also be time at the end of the session for any additional questions you guys may have that weren't asked throughout the session. So rest assured, I'll keep track of all questions that might be typed out by you all. If you have any technical issues, please feel free to send a message to the Sonoran Center in the chat. Our team is on that, and they'll be available to help out with anything. And then finally, on behalf of the Sonoran Center, I would like to read the university's land acknowledgement statement. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of Indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the Tohono O'odham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and Indigenous communities through educational offerings, partnerships, and community service. Okay, so for today's session, I want to just inform everybody, this is the last official session of the Advancing Employment webinar series. We will likely have a new series starting in 2024. But as far as this series goes, this will be our last one. Today we'll be focusing on assistive technology, and we have two representatives from the Arizona Technology Access Program, or AzTAP, here to share information with you. So we've got Clayton Guffey and Carla Rivas Parker presenting, and I'm going to go ahead and pass things on to them so they can introduce themselves and present.
Great, thanks, Abel. Appreciate the introductions. Yes, my name is Clayton. I'm the program director for the Arizona Technology Access Program. Carla, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Carla Rivas Parker, and I am one of the assistive technology specialists here at AzTAP.
Excellent. Thanks, Carla. So Abel had the request for us to come and do a presentation on assistive technology and how that enhances employment options for persons with disabilities. Today, our objectives are pretty straightforward towards those goals. We're going to give you a solid overview on the Arizona Technology Access programs and our services so that you have a good understanding of what we do and how our program operates. We're also going to touch on what assistive technology is. You may or may not even be familiar with that term. Today, hopefully, you'll have a little bit better understanding of AT and what it qualifies as and how it's used as employment. We're going to talk about how you can use AzTAP for your assistive technology needs, or for those of your family member or your clients, because we're open to everybody in the state. And Carla's going to share some information on how assistive technology leads to her successful employment. And finally, we're going to share some supportive and associated resources that cover education and employment needs and that support assistive technology and reasonable accommodations, which is all very important to being successful in employment. So those are our primary objectives for today. I want to go ahead and start out with just a basic foundation about AzTAP. We're actually a program with Northern Arizona University. We're part of the Institute for Human Development. And a lot of people hear that and they think that we're in Flagstaff, and that's not the case. We're actually a Phoenix-based program. We began or opened as a program in 1994. So next year, we're going to have our 30th anniversary. We are operating under and are funded by the 21st Century Assistive Technology Act, which was reauthorized last year and renamed. We're loosely known as what's called Arizona's Tech Act program. Since we're funded through the Technology Act, we're known as the Tech Act program. And there is actually a program like us in each state and the territories. So Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands all have their own programs along with each of the United States. So there's actually 56 programs throughout. All right, so overview of our staff. This is a slide that has pictures of all of our glowing faces. We're a small staff, but I think we do great things. Like I said, I'm the program director. We have Mike and Carla, who are our assistive technology specialists. They do most of our hands-on work with our clients with assistive technology. We have Sharon, who runs some of our reuse services. And we have Cecilia, who manages our Department of Education AT lending program. We have Lauren, who runs our adaptive gaming clinic, and Lynn, who is our inventory manager. And right now we have one vacant position that we're in the process of hiring for to run our financial loan program. All of these programs I'm going to talk about today. So, all right. So having given you a foundation and a little bit about our staff, what's our mission? What do we do? Why do we exist? AzTAP's mission statement is to assist individuals with disabilities in connecting with assistive technology that allows them to participate in life activities that matter to them. So whether that's work or school or daily life, whatever that is, wherever AT can assist them, all of our programs and services can work with them in some capacity. And our advertising tagline is AzTAP, supporting independence with assistive technology. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit to what assistive technology is. This is the federal definition for assistive technology. Essentially any item, piece of equipment, or product system that increases, maintains, or improves the capabilities of a person with a disability. So it can literally be anything, from low tech to high tech, from simple to complex. Really any aid or device that enhances the capability of someone with a disability can be considered assistive technology. So there's some things that I like to keep in mind when thinking about assistive technology. We always try to make sure that it's functional task-based, that we actually take a look at what the person is trying or needing to do when considering assistive technology. Assistive technology is also about the features. So it's important to keep in mind that if a person doesn't need a very complex device, they just need something simple, they just needed to do one or two things, then we try to keep it as simple as possible. So sometimes folks don't need the most complex device. Assistive technology is always individualized. No two persons with the same disability may need the same assistive technology. They may live in different places, work in different areas, or have different needs. So their assistive technology will be individualized based on the tasks that they need to do. As I said, simplest is usually the best option. So it's less likely to break. It usually costs less, So we really try to keep simple things in mind first before we move on to higher tech, more complex options. Always important to involve the user in assistive technology decision-making. No one likes having decisions made for them. So we like to involve the person as much as possible. Here at AzTAP, we give persons the opportunity to try assistive technology before they buy it or pursue it. That's a main cornerstone of our program. We're going to talk about that today, but try things out before you buy them or get them to try to make an informed choice of whether or not they work for you. Also here at AzTAP, we can also work with folks on other options. Sometimes folks want to know, I've heard about this, but what are some other choices that I have in relation to a device that will do something that I need it to do? So some simple things that I like to try to keep in mind when I'm working with the folks that come in to see us. All right, so like I said, assistive technology enhances participation in work, school, and daily life. It's used for task completion. It can be things you buy, it can be things you make or you put together. It can be low, mid, or high tech. Essentially, anything that enhances the capabilities of a person with a disability can be considered assistive technology. So, all right, having said that, these are the different areas of assistive technology that we cover here at AzTAP. I'm not going to read all the categories, but we have approximately 3,800 devices that across all of these equipment areas. On the right, I have some pictures of assistive technology, an ability switch, a caption telephone, a speech generating device, a refreshable braille display and note taker, a reading pen, and down at the bottom, a very simple reacher for folks to be able to grab things from off the floor or from up high. So again, a range of assistive technology from low tech like the reacher up to high tech like the speech generating device. So a range of devices. All right, so having said that, what do we do on a daily basis? What are our overall programs and services? All right, so a cornerstone of AzTAP is doing device demonstrations and assistive technology loans. So from our inventory of 3,800 odd devices, we allow people to come in and sit down with an assistive technology specialist and try out different types of assistive technology. If they find something they like and they actually want to take it and try it in the environment they need to use it in, we do loans. So we can lend it to them to take home and try out. So the goal of both of these programs is to assist folks in becoming informed about assistive technology so that they make the best decision possible. And our complete assistive technology inventory is available online at our website. All right, so for loans, we can lend for the decision-making process, trying something out as an accommodation. Sometimes we get requests from hospitals or other programs to lend them something so they can work with a person. Short-term loaners, if someone needs a device while theirs is being repaired or replaced, we can lend for that reason. We also lend to professionals for training and professional development needs. Our loan program, we try to make it as barrier-free as possible. We lend for 2 weeks. We pay for shipping to all areas of the state. So if someone's not able to come in and pick up a device, we will ship it to them for free and provide them with a FedEx return label so they can ship it back to us. Our assistive technology lab is open to therapists and AT evaluators to use to work with clients on assistive technology. They can request equipment be available and the lab space. They can have us available when they use it or work on their own independently here, whatever works for them. And all of our programs and services are free. There's no fees or charges to use any aspect of these services from our program. All right, so some basic facts about the demonstration program. Of course, we don't have every type of assistive technology that's commercially available, but more than likely, we have something in the interest area or something that you're interested in or needing, at least as a starting point. So if you want to know about head pointing systems for mouse control, we probably have about a half dozen systems that I can show you to give you an idea of how that technology works. then we can always look at more specific systems and review other options as available. We also have the ability to get demo units of devices or add things to our inventory if it's appropriate. And like I said, we can always research other options for folks as well in relation to their assistive technology needs. All right, as a subset of our AT loan program, we also run assistive technology loan program for the Department of Education. We're actually in our 16th year of running this program for the Department of Ed. It's available statewide, and it's free for schools and charter schools to use, and they can borrow assistive technology to use with students in the classroom in either IEP or 504 plans. So it's very easy for school districts and charter schools to sign up. Like I mentioned, we have a dedicated staff member that runs and manages that program for us. So if you work with a school district, you can be borrowing assistive technology to use with your students to help support the need for them getting it. So, all right, moving right along, I'm going to talk a little bit about our reuse services, which are essentially there to help people find new homes or find used or pre-owned assistive technology or durable medical equipment. And so often we see folks that have durable medical equipment or assistive technology that's no longer needed, either because it wasn't wanted to begin with when they got it, maybe they weren't involved in the acquisition and just showed up at their house. It's not fitting their needs any longer. It doesn't do what was desired. It was inappropriate when it was provided. We have a staff member and a couple of online resources that can help folks find new homes for the items that they're no longer using. So our first one is called the Arizona Assistive Technology Exchange. And essentially, this is an online forum, kind of like a Craigslist, where people can place ads for used or pre-owned assistive technology or medical equipment. You can also place an ad for an item needed if you're looking for a specific piece of equipment. You can set the system to email you when someone posts an ad with a keyword or in a category of your interest, so you don't have to go in and look every day. Like I said, we do have a staff member that can help people place their ads on the site. If a person has a computer and internet access, they can use this site completely independently, and it's not for for-profit vendors or companies to use. So the AT Exchange site inventory changes every day as ads are going on and coming off, so you'll never know what you're going to find posted or advertised there. As an extension of that site, we also run an online resource called the Arizona Assistive Technology and Durable Medical Equipment Reuse Coalition. And essentially, this is just a comprehensive listing of medical equipment or reuse programs throughout the state. And we try to provide all their information about eligibility, as well as the types of durable medical equipment that they generally deal with. So if programs are listed here, if you're coming to the site and you have an item to donate, you can pull up your area, the type of item you have to donate by name, and it will bring up a list of programs that say they will accept that item. And then you can review each one individually based on location or mission that you want to support or other eligibility criteria. Conversely, if you're looking for equipment, it will help you localize down to programs and loan closets that most likely have what you need and will serve your type of disability or the area that you live. Right now, we have about 40 plus programs that are on the site. And again, as programs come and go, we take them on or take them off or put them on based on our contact information with them. So it's essentially a way to find homes for assistive technology or medical equipment that you're no longer needing, or if you're needing used or pre-owned items, that can help you find that loan closet that's a fit for you. So, and as I mentioned, we have a dedicated staff member that can work with persons to use both sites. Our last reuse program is Refurb It. We run this in partnership with Achieve Human Services in Yuma, and essentially Achieve Human Services in the Refurb It program provides refurbished PC laptops and desktop computers at a discounted cost to persons. With Refurbit, we have a special agreement with them where if a person receives a state or a federal public assistance benefit and can provide us proof of that, we're able to offer them a 25% discount on top of their Refurbit purchase. So this program has very affordable PCs, both laptops and desktops. Generally, prices range from about $130 to about $300, depending on the capability of the system you get. But you can also get component parts like monitors and mice and everything with a system that you need. Refurbit is a great option for somebody that maybe doesn't need a brand new computer, maybe a student or a senior citizen, somebody that just needs something for a small amount of usage every day or simple usage. The nice thing about Refurbit computers are they come with a basic Microsoft Office suite of products, and they come with a 12-month warranty. So if the person has any problems with that computer during the 12 months, they can get a replacement from Refurbit. So I love these systems as starter systems for folks. If they don't need something really great, this will be a great way for them to start and maybe build up towards getting a newer or a better system. So a great entry level or backup computer for somebody. All right. Finally, we do lots of consultations here at AzTAP on assistive technology. So people email and call us very frequently wanting all kinds of information on assistive technology. We're also able to offer some support to persons if they don't have a good means of support or a good support network to be able to get some types of assistive technology. So questions that we get asked all the time are, what will work for me? How can I pay for it or obtain it? What are alternate product suggestions? Where can I get an evaluation? And or local vendors of assistive technology products. We can tell folks where they can go to get many items. So we field these questions all day long. We work with folks either by phone or by email or in-person consultations, whatever works best for them. All right. In addition, for the community, we do tons of training. So just like today, Abel asked me to put together a presentation on AT and employment. We did that. So we developed this presentation training for you guys and are giving it now. So technical assistance, we're also able to work with community agencies and programs on assisting them in developing or determining assistive technology options for their clientele or clients. And at any given time, we maybe have 3 or 4 different technical assistance projects going on. All right. Finally, we have the Arizona Loans for Assistive Technology program. This is an alternative financing program that makes low interest financial loans to persons with disabilities and their families to purchase assistive technology. You may or may not know, not all types of AT are fundable through all third-party resources like Voc Rehab or Workers' Comp or DDD or Medicaid or Medicare. Are not going to always cover every type of AT. So folks need other resources to be able to get the technology they need to be independent. We cover all different types of assistive technology through this program, adaptive vehicle equipment, blindness, low vision aids, computer access equipment, recreational aids. We're able to help out with co-pays for assistive technology, adaptive driving related services, et cetera. So all kinds of different things are potentially covered under this program and are potential options for a financial loan. So some basic facts about the AzLab program. We lend at a pretty competitive interest rate now more than ever, about 4.5%. Our loan amounts range from $100,000 to $20,000. We can go above $20,000 on a case-by-case basis. We have a lending partner that actually makes the financial loan for us, Marisol Federal Credit Union. The program is very flexible in that we can account for credit issues related to having a disability, and we allow folks to choose the repayment term of their loan kind of based on what they're borrowing for. We have a loan review committee that meets monthly to review applications and to make decisions. So for the AzLab program, we really ask that folks be an Arizona and lawfully residing U.S. resident, It's a very empowering program. You don't have to wait for a third-party funding source to make a decision about your need. You can pursue the program on your own. We ask that folks demonstrate some basic credit worthiness and a sufficient monthly income to make the loan payment that they're wanting. We make repayment terms flexible, anywhere from 12 to 60 months, depending on the type of AT that they're borrowing for. And overall, it's a very underutilized program. We'd like to make a lot more loans than we do. So last but not least, we launched an adaptive video gaming clinic in July of last year. This is a part-time program for us. It works exclusively with working with persons with disabilities and their families on the ability to play video games, either with adaptive hardware, game console settings, or game accessibility settings themselves. So we have Lauren, who's our clinical coordinator. She works with us on a part-time basis and runs this clinic. We have a dedicated webpage on our website that covers information about it, as well as adaptive gaming resources. And we have a dedicated phone number and email address for the program. So we also run an assistive technology conference in June generally of each year. The dates for next year are June 3rd and 4th. We're still determining a venue for this year's event. Generally, we have an exhibit hall with about 50 plus exhibitors, 65 or so breakout sessions and 3 different tracks. The exhibit hall is open to the community for free on day 1 of the conference. If you're interested in staying abreast of information about it, you can sign up at our homepage for our news and updates emails listserv, and you will get all the information about the conference. All right, so we're going to go out and switch gears a little bit from AzTAP programs and services. I'm going to give Carla a chance to talk about herself a little bit and her work as an AT specialist here at AzTAP. Essentially kind of share the assistive technology she uses every day and how it contributes to her successful work here. And then after Carla talks, I'm going to share some information on 3 different programs that at some point, if you're an individual with disability, or you have a family member with a disability, or maybe you have clients with disabilities, you're probably going to need to use or rely on one of these programs at some point. So I'm going to give you a basic overview. So Carla, are you ready?
I am ready.
Awesome.
Thank you, Clayton.
All right.
So anyway, when I hear the words assistive technology, those are magic words for me. Magic because they have made my life possible. And when I say my life possible in terms of not just employment, but being independent and activities of daily living. I was diagnosed at age 5 with night blindness. Was told to take a lot of vitamin A so my eyes will get better and I will be able to see at night. I did take a lot of vitamin A, ate a lot of carrots. My ears grew as rabbits, but my eyes never improved. So fast forward in time, age 19, I'm diagnosed as legally blind. Now I am in need of some sort of assistive technology that will allow me to continue moving forward. I'm attending school. I'm trying to get ready to continue my life. Started using some handheld magnifiers to make possible documents. So one of the biggest limitations a person with low vision or no vision encounters in life is access to information, either electronic information or printed information. And you find information everywhere, from using daily living devices, microwaves, TVs, computers, to getting around signs on doors, things like that. So accessing to information is a big limitation when your eyes are not working great. Fast forwarding, age 29, I pretty much lost my low vision and I became totally blind. In assistive technology, my 2 magic words continue being there with me, assisting me in kind of different ways. So as I mentioned, I use handheld magnifiers. Then I use some video magnifiers. And now, after I was basically diagnosed as totally blind, just with light perception, my way of getting information is audible. So anything it is in front of me has information, it comes to me in an audio way. So I am one of those people that I will not hesitate to say, hey, I do hear voices, because everything talks to me, from a clock that I can just push a button that tells me what the time is, to a device that I can put against my clothes. It will tell me what color my clothing is, to my great and powerful friend named JAWS. JAWS is the job access for my computer. It's job access with speech, as the official kind of definition of the acronym JAWS. But JAWS is a screen reader that makes accessible the information that is on the computer. So I can navigate the computer and it will read back to me everything. I can be on an email and I can read it, I can reply to it, I can check spell my words, I can write reports, I can write recommendations, read anything that is in the computer, internet, emails, words, you name it. JAWS, in conjunction with an 80-cell braille display, is the Focus Blue 80-cell braille display, is another great assistive technology I am able to use. This is my second modality of accessing the information. What does this mean? Usually just one modality is not enough. I mean, I can hear all the information, I can spell the information, but sometimes I need to see. I'm at a point, I am a visual learner. So if it's not there, I can see it, then I just don't process it. And for me to see it, I see it through my fingers. So when I see the words, I see the way it's spelled, it kind of stick easier in my head. So I use my braille display many times when I talk to clients. I'm writing down their information, spelling of their names, phone numbers, addresses. I have to be able to write it correctly. So I type it and I read it back to them by reading through my braille display. I can verify the spelling. If I misspell something, I can correct it right there. So those two together are a great tool for me to have. That is to access the information on my computer, on the internet. But what happens if what I need to access is something in writing? A letter that came to me, a report. Sometimes we send satisfaction surveys and I may need to access that information. Then I have a different modality to access printed information. I have a software called OpenBook. And this uses a camera that's called Carol camera. So I put my document underneath of the camera. The camera captures a picture of the document. It is processed in a matter of 2 seconds. The information is being read back to me. So this is incredible, because it's not just reading back to me, but since it converted the information into electronic format, then I can read the information that is on the paper in braille on my braille display as well. So that is really, really, really good. Many things I do here at the office may require some visual input. And one of the services I have as my reasonable accommodation to do my job is the IRA service, or is an audio description of the visual situations that I am not able to capture that any of my other technology will capture. So for example, many times in the internet, there are websites that are not accessible. And so I need some sort of assistant there that will help me to make that information accessible. So Ira is one way to get that information accessible. So Ira works through my phone. So it's like an app I have where I can dial directly to an assistant there, an Ira, and a human answers my call and asks me, what can I do for you today? So they can do many things. So to make what is not accessible at this point accessible is one way, but many times I also have to configure different types of technology that are not meant for a person who's blind or low vision. It's meant for other disabilities, so the accessibility features for a blind person are not there. So this service allows me to learn how to use it, how to configure, how to fit this piece of device to the needs of another person. They guide my hands, my fingers through the different menus. They read the information that is showing there. They make information possible for me so I can make decisions in terms of what is it that I want to do next, how I want to configure the device. And I base all of these configurations on the needs of my clients. So that's Ira services. So anything they can even help me when I navigate in the outdoors, trying to find a room, for example, if I am in a conference and I need to find X name of a room, they will help me to locate that room, that kind of stuff. So with my telephone, that's another device that I use a lot. In my telephone, I have VoiceOver, and VoiceOver is the screen reader for the iPhone. So I can use my phone for different things. Simply make phone calls by saying something like, hey, S-I-R-I, and I'm spelling it because I have it here. Otherwise, I'll start making a phone call. I will say, hey, S, call somebody or send a text message to somebody or read my messages or what time is it or tell me about the weather, that kind of stuff. So I have full access to many different things, many information in the phone. I can even sometimes do my job on the go because I can access my emails. I may be able to access information that I need to research. So since I don't have to pay attention on the road because I don't drive, some people say I may be very dangerous on the road, then I can do something else than paying attention on the road. I can navigate with my phone and do some sort of work. So I have my mobile office as that I call my phone. But the iPhone, the VoiceOver gives me info to what is in there. But there are applications also that allow me to access information like printed information. I have the app called Seeing AI. Seeing AI, AI stands for artificial intelligence. So when I open this app, I can be in a quick reading option, and I can point my phone and anywhere and it will read to me the information that is around me, information that I didn't even know it was in front of me. Sometimes names of books that somebody may have, or they are reading, names of signs, anything. It will be able to read. It will recognize money, denomination of bills. If I have a paper bills and I want to know what the nomination is, it will tell me what the nomination is. It can read to me barcodes on products, make products accessible to me. So basically, the technology I use, it's very comprehensive and allows me to have full access to many different things. I also have my Echo Dot with Alexa that I use, and I can say Alexa because I changed her name before this presentation, so she's not responding during my presentation, but I can ask her what time is it, remind me to getting a meeting so and so, set up a timer so I don't go over my time frame in terms of my presentations. So I use anything I can or I can get my hands on to be able to perform my job. And pretty much what I had talked to you is what Clayton explained at the beginning. It's high technology, and we divide technology in high, medium, and low. So in mid technology, I consider, for example, the Echo device as a mid technology, because although requires like electricity and internet, is very simple to use. There is not really a huge learning curve to learn to use it. So it's simple, it requires some configuration, but once it's configured and is there ready for me. Even for anybody that just say the lady's name and ask a question, she's there for anybody that will ask anything. I use my cane to get around. I consider my cane low tech, not low tech, mid tech. Why is it mid tech? Doesn't require internet, doesn't require configuration, it doesn't require power. Well, thanks God, it doesn't require electricity or batteries, because I use it a lot all day. But it does require a huge learning curve. My life is behind that cane. So for me to be safe and be able to cross streets and be able to make the right turns, be able to know where I'm heading and how to get to where I need to go, I had to have a lot of training to use that cane. It's not just a simple device that is there. Lunchtime. When lunchtime comes and I have to go warm up my food, I need to access the microwave. Simple bomb dots on the typical amount of minutes I use are placed on the microwave. That microwave now is accessible to me. I know I push my bomb dot in the number 1 and it warms up my food for 1 minute. So I will say assistive technology for me, low or high, is magic, because it makes it possible for me to have a productive life, to be independent and to be productive at work. And that is one thing that is recommended when people is looking for employment, that the reasonable accommodations they need to perform the essential functions of the job are provided, because technology works as long as the correct technology is matched to the needs of the person. We here at AzTAP have the feature match approach, where no one size fits all. There are so many different types of technology available, and what works for me doesn't necessarily will work for another person, even when we have the same condition, even when we have the same level of sight, in my case, or no sight. It does not work like that. You have to have customization of the technology for it to work properly to the person. And who knows what is best for that person typically will be the person that's going to be using the assistive technology. Many times we're trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to provide accommodations or equipment that probably the person is not even familiar. This is a team approach. The most important person in this picture will be the person with the disability, with the experience in the use of different devices, and then the employer will basically go on trying to match those reasonable accommodations the person need to have in order to perform the essential functions of the job. And that's basically my experience.
All right, thank you, Carla. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm open for questions if anybody has any questions for me.
Clayton, you are muted.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Carla. All right, so jumping to the next topic, I've put together three, I think, of probably the most supportive and important resources for employment and or education for persons with disabilities. Education, of course, is important to, advancing in employment. So I include all three of these for consideration. The first one is called the Job Accommodation Network. And this is a resource that I use routinely in my work with person. And essentially, this is a program and a website that's set up to help identify assistive technology and reasonable accommodations for persons with disabilities in relation to employment. It also has a lot of information on the interactive process or the process of how to request accommodations for both employers and employees. So people can get information about how to start this conversation and what the process should look like ideally. Also, they have different types of suggestions for assistive technology based on disabilities and jobs. So you can go there and get ideas about what may work or what would be a good idea to consider. Also, if you're needing accommodation ideas for a person based on a task or a type of disability diagnosis, they will give you some starting places as well. So it's a great kind of starting off place for beginning to look at assistive technology and accommodation ideas with lots of good resources there. So I'd encourage you to take a look around the JAN website if you've never been there before and look at some of the things that they have available. All right, next is Rehabilitation Services Administration, the Vocational Rehabilitation Program, which lots of individuals with disabilities are involved in relation to entering into or regaining employment, whether they have disability that was acquired at birth or something they acquired later on in life. This program, Voc Rehab, can fund assistive technology as it relates to employment and independence. The rehabilitation and planning process can take time, though, with VR, so patience is usually needed. If a person is having difficulty with the VR program and not getting what they feel they need, the Arizona Center for Disability Law does have the Client Assistance Program or CAP program available for support. And the main thing that I recommend for VR is to be persistent, and a person really needs to have good self-advocacy skills, be able to step up and really know what they need and be able to take steps to get it. So at some point, most folks will be involved in VR if they have a disability. So that's an important program to keep in mind. Finally, community college or four-year university disabled student resource offices or DSR offices. Some may be aware and some may not that the experience of getting accommodations is dramatically different between high school versus community college or four-year college. In high school, you have an IEP team that sits down with you and makes decisions and assists you in getting accommodations and the assistive technology you need to be successful in your academic program. However, when you get to the community college or certainly the four-year university level, it is a different experience. No longer are things done for you. You need to be able to take control of your situation to be able to request the accommodations and the assistive technology you need, and to be able to self-advocate for that. So it's very important to know your needs, both of your disability as well as your assistive technology, to be able to advocate for the things that you need. So knowing your accommodations, some of the common ones I put up on the screen here, that folks can be determined eligible for in relation to their schoolwork, extra time for tests, having a note taker available if that's possible, captioning, print materials in alternative formats, etc. Those are all common accommodations that students can get in relation to their academic program. I always recommend for College Disabled Student Services Office, go in early. A lot of these accommodations take time to set up, like alternative formats. They have to be able to create them from the books. They need time to get the books, etc. So I suggest 3 months prior to starting a semester or a program, you're going in and meeting with a counselor in the Disabled Student Services Office to get those accommodations underway. So, Abel, can you read me my last point there? I don't remember what it was. I can't see it.
You know, Clayton, I'm dealing with what you are. I have those automatic captions up on my screen, so I also cannot see it. But give me
Since
one
this is a
second.
unique slide, I'm not familiar with. I don't remember what I typed there. So, all right. So last but not least, I like to provide our contact information. We have our general website, AzTAP, aztap.org, that takes you to our main webpage where all of our program and service information is available. We have our phone number there, 1-800 number, and our fax number, our main office address, and we have a general email address that folks can use for all queries related to AzTAP. That inbox, askaztap@nau.edu, is monitored by 3 or 4 staff members on a daily basis. So we're able to get folks a very quick and timely response, or get them directed to the right place based on whatever their query is. So having said all that, Carla and I are available for questions now. Abel, are there any in the chat window that we can start with?
There were not any that came in while you were presenting, but while I'm giving time for folks to type any, if they do have some, I have a question. So you shared a slide earlier about the ADE-AT loan library. I know we have a couple of folks in here from our school system. If they were interested in connecting with that to potentially get access to some AT for a student, who do they contact? What does that process look like?
Okay, they can call, they can certainly just email askaztap@nau.edu. We'll get them connected. If they go to our website under AT devices, there's a link to the Department of Ed AT lending program. Very easy to get right to the program's homepage from there. Then it has all the information. Or if they would like, they can contact the coordinator. Her name is Cecilia, and her phone number is 602-776-4659.
Awesome. Thank you, Clayton.
No problem. And on the question screen that I have here, I do have our QR code. So if you want to pick up your phone and take a picture of it, that will take you to our homepage of our website. Or Abel, if you'd like, you can put it in the chat window, aztap.org, and then folks can get right there and bookmark it, keep it available. So.
Does anybody else? Oh, go on.
Yeah, I do have a question. And I'm sorry, I don't recall what the name of the program is, but you were talking about some type of adaptive equipment, like for vehicles, and there's some type of loan that you could get. I guess what I'm inquiring about is about adaptive bicycles, like, you know, how does that program include, you know, a loan for like adaptive bicycles, you know, the one that, you know, you pay for, like the individuals would pay for it, but they get like a discount or something?
Well, yes, to answer your question, the AzLab program families can borrow for adaptive bikes of all kinds, whether it's a Riften product or something from a specialty provider. There's a wide variety of choice when it comes to adaptive cycles and equipment. There's actually a lot to it. Yeah, I'm not aware of any discount programs necessarily, and certainly none in relation to us. There are community funding resources out there to help families be able to afford these. A lot of the specialized adaptive trikes are not cheap. They can easily be $5,000 or $6,000 with all the needed features that the child may need in order to ride, whether supported or independent. So yeah, so it usually some families need some help with funding, but the AzTAP program, they can certainly use it to borrow for this equipment. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are there any additional questions anybody has? And we got a few minutes here left. And again, while folks may be typing or considering, there's going to be a link put here in the chat in just a second. That's our survey for our webinar today. Please take a quick minute to fill that out. Your guys' feedback is always very valuable to us, and it helps us with planning for any of our future webinars.
So I went back and I checked that slide with the that had the content with the caption I couldn't see. So essentially, we were talking about, I was saying that at the link there on the slide, there's a wakelet that has some resources for DSR, Disabled Student Services Office, as well as AT for Success in College. That has some helpful resources there. So if you wanted to check out that wakelet, you can. It's linked there. And Abel, if you'd like to cut it and put it in the chat window, or I can do that as well.
Yeah, if you have it up, feel free to just throw it in there. I'm not seeing any additional questions. So if there's nothing else, again, thank you guys for attending today. I appreciate you taking the time to come, and you will see some information from us here in the near future about where this series is going to go for next year in 2024.